Today I'm working on the quack shack, so stay tuned. Welcome back to Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. I'm your host, Jerry Hansen. Today we're working on the quack shack. We're building the outdoor enclosure. The other one had collapsed from a previous snowstorm back in January, and I'm just now getting around and reconstructing it next to the quack shack here. I'm utilizing my same conduit material, and I want to show you what I'm doing when I constructed the doorway. Framing the door with 1-inch conduit, it was relatively simple. I went down to the hardware store and purchased two 10-foot long sections, and that's all they sell them in is 10-foot lengths, and this is perfect for what I needed. So what I did is I used my metal blade in my jigsaw, and I cut a groove on each side to allow a thin slit to allow a hose clamp to thread through there. That hose clamp then comes around the conduit and fastens that conduit into the adjoining conduit. The side posts for the gateway into the quack shack enclosure, I just took the garden hose and soaked down the ground underneath where I was going to drive or actually pressure push the conduit down into the ground about 1 foot. And then the top part, I would put that hose clamp around the top conduit to make it stable. To give the top of the door some more rigidity, stability, I went ahead and used my conduit that I had cut that was on the previous doorway, and it's perfectly spaced for the two sides to space apart where the door is free under it. And this center post goes right up into the conduit fittings. And then again, I used a hose clamp right here to be able to secure this centerpiece onto this cross header beam. For the hinges of the door, I just took 2 regular gate hinges, and I tapped in some holes in through the conduit and used some carriage bolts. And on the other side of the carriage bolts, I used a lock nut to lock it in place. And the gate stays nice and sturdy. For the side post where the door fastens to when you lock the door, I used a standard barrel bolt, but I tapped a hole into that side post, just larger than the barrel bolt, so I have plenty of clearance as the gate flexes with the weather. I could still line it up and get it locked, keep the animals secure in place. As you can tell, the geese, goslings, and ducks and ducklings are all enjoying their new enclosure. This way I'm able to secure them safely away from all the nocturnal predators that we have lingering about and lurking about on our homestead in the darkness. Oh look, a duck egg. That duck was comfortable enough to lay an egg. So that's how I retrofitted the new duck pen after we had a collapse from that bad snowstorm that we received in January, half the roof collapsed. I was able to disassemble half the goose pen and just reduce it down half the size for the ducks that still maintain a security for them. We finish off with securing the deer netting to the upper part of this quack shack. I chose deer netting because it's a lot cheaper than using regular bird netting. And I just use a pair of dikes to trim off those little tags. The netting is done and on, and this will keep the birds of prey out. I still want to haul in some gravel and lay a gravel base underneath the quack shack. That way I can just take a hose and hose all their poop down into the gravel and let it run out. Of course, cover it with plastic, lay gravel over the plastic, and let the poop run downhill, and then filter into the soil. Well, that's the new quack shack and the enclosure. I'm your host, Jerry Hansen, here at Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. I want to thank you guys for joining me on this little build here on protecting my livestock. You can find me on social media. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, and Reddit. And we are also on an episode of Homestead Rescue, Season 2, Episode 2. The title of our particular episode is Honey, I Torched the Homestead. And you can see us on Discovery Channel and Animal Planet. And now you can, for $1.99, I think you see us on Amazon Videos and what is it, Amazon Prime, something like that. And then I know you can find us on YouTube. Just type in Homestead Rescue Season 2 Episode 2 and you can find us. We'll see you guys again in another video. Bye bye.